Very good morning, student. Today I am going to discuss with you people the next chapter, enzyme technology. The enzyme technology is the technology which is associated with the use of enzymes as tools in the industry, pharmaceuticals, agriculture, or medicine. We all of us are very familiar with the enzyme. So enzymes are soluble, amorphous, colloidal, proteinous, bioactive organic catalyst produced by the living cells. They are protein composed of one polypeptide, that is your amino acid chain, or more associated polypeptide chain. The catalytic activity of the enzymes depends on the L alpha amino acid sequence and peptide bonds constituting the protein molecule. The primary, secondary, tertiary, and quaternary structure of enzymes proteins are necessary for their catalytic activity. So these enzymes in different facets which having their own identity. That means holoenzyme, which is composed of some protein, that enzyme is called as apoenzyme. If the enzyme which is composed of non-protein, then that enzyme is called as coenzyme and some metal part. And protein part of enzyme is attached to a non-protein part by covalent or non-covalent bond. When coenzyme is attached to apoenzyme tightly and permanently, then it is called as prosthetic group. Enzyme have molecular weights ranging from about 12,000 to over 1 million. So in this chapter we'll going to focused on the different types of application of enzyme. There are the different types of carriers will going to be used for the enzyme technology, and the enzyme immobilization is very crucial aspect of this chapter. So we'll see one by one. Everything which having their own pros and cons in their own facet. So as like the different types of pros and cons, this enzyme also having their own pros and cons with respect to its application, may be related with your diagnostic features as well as the applications there in the pharmaceutical field as far as your therapeutic applications are concerned. So the advantages of these enzymes are enzymes of high or low specificity can be selected to desired function. Second is your little or no by product formation is observed. Optical activity occurs under very mild reaction condition. So these are some or few, you can say, the advantages of the enzyme. But when we talk regarding the immobilization of enzyme, or rather when we try to sum up the enzyme technology and its application, so there are different types of challenges are there in case of enzyme technology. So the challenges related with these enzymes are the cost of enzyme preparation is often high. Perhaps these enzymes are intrinsically unstable, so that we'll have to make it stable by using different types of carrier. So we'll see that how one can stable or trim that enzyme with the help of different types of immobilization methods. Next one is your enzymes are easily inhibited. Fourth one is your substrate or products which has low solubility in aqueous solution can pose the different types of difficulty, and that's why by looking towards these challenges or the problem, this enzyme technology has got the different types of what we can say, the different types of challenges forefront, and to overcome it there are the different types of solution as like your immobilization of enzyme. Next, what actually the immobilization of enzyme? So this enzyme immobilization is a process in which the enzymes are physically confined or localized in a certain defined region of space with retention of their catalytic activities, and which can be used repeatedly and continuously. It is the process wherein an enzyme or cell makes use of safe carrier phase for the stealth and safe homing. Not only this, the use of enzyme in industrial applications is limited because most of the enzymes are relatively unstable, and high cost of isolation, purification, and recovery of active enzymes from reaction mixture. So after the completion of catalytic process, the different types of enzymes after immobilization has been applicable with the different types of facets. Hence, the enzymes must be immobilized on the surface of some solid support, or it can convert a continuous flow of substrate to product without being lost. So the first commercial application of the immobilized enzyme technology was realized in the year of somehow 1969, I think so. It was in Japan with the use of Asparagus oryzae. Amino acylase was the enzyme which were used for the purpose of industrial production of L-amino acids. These are some benefits of immobilization of these enzyme, and there are a number of advantages to attach with the enzymes to a solid support, and several major reasons are really been there. Few of them are multiple or repetitive use of single batch of enzymes, then ability to stop the reaction rapidly by removing the enzyme from the reaction solution, or vice versa you can say. Third one is enzymes are usually stabilized by binding. Fourth one is product is not contaminated with the enzyme, that is especially useful in the food and pharmaceutical industries. Fifth one is easy separation of enzyme from the product. Second last is allows development of a multi-enzyme reaction system, and last is your reduces the effluent disposal problem. So these are the few benefits of the benefits which related with the enzyme which has been produced or manufactured by means of immobilization process. These are some properties of immobilized enzyme. These properties are related with your enzyme and carrier, or both together. So when we talk regarding individuality of the enzyme and carrier, then the properties which is required for the enzyme for the immobilization purpose are biochemical properties, then reaction type and kinetics. So these are the two main property you can say, which is quite focused one, which can be applicable for the immobilization of the this enzyme. So apart from that, meanwhile the carrier, by looking toward the selection of the carrier, the two properties as like enzyme are perform their own role better for the immobilization of the enzyme. So very first property related with the carrier is chemical characteristics and mechanical properties. So these mechanical and chemical properties are a major you can say the factor related with the carrier, by which one can confine the enzyme with the help of this carrier. So when we talk regarding the individuality, so not to forget about the combination of the property when we talk regarding the responses when we'll get after the mobilization of the enzyme. So the after immobilization, one must stick to the effect of the immobilized enzyme. So it is totally depend upon what type of enzyme and the carrier you have used for the preparation of immobilization. So when we talk regarding the property together of this enzyme and the carrier, then we'll have to think about the immobilization method, operational stability, and obviously when we talk regarding the immobilization, so output is ultimately related with the performance. So it is ultimately depend upon the mass transfer effect. So not to forget the combination properties, but individuality is quite perform well by selection of the enzyme as well as the carrier. Next is selected characteristic parameters of immobilized enzyme. So the biochemical properties and enzyme kinetic properties are performed or what we can say by keeping in mind the two major parameter, or you can say the factors related with the selection of the different types of parameter for the immobilized enzyme. So the factors or the parameter related with the biochemical properties are molecular weight, one must consider, then functional group of protein surface, then purity, that is inactivating or protecting the function of the impurity. So these are few properties which is related with the biochemical facet, and On the other hand, the enzyme kinetic parameter, which is really crucial one, while one can just fix the enzyme on a solid support while immobilization process. So the specific activity, then pH, temperature profile, then kinetic parameters for the activity and inhibition, then enzyme stability against the pH, temperature, solvent, contaminant, impurities, etc. So these are the some kinetic property which is related with the enzyme, which perform its role better when one can just fix that enzyme over the solid support for the proper immobilization. Next is your properties or the characteristics, you can say, which is related with the carrier. So though we had seen earlier that the combination of the enzyme and the carrier properties are perform well there in the immobilization, but though the individuality, when we can see that chemical characteristics which include the chemical basis and composition, then functional groups, swelling behavior, accessible volume of matrix and pore size, then chemical stability of the carrier. So these are the crucial part related with the chemical characteristics, when which is quite be beneficial to the users, or you can say the for the manufacturer, I mean to say, for when one can select the carrier for the immobilization. Apart from that, the mechanical properties related with your particle diameter, then single particle compression behavior, then flow resistance, that is which is required for the fixed bed application, then sedimentation velocity for the fluidized bed, and last is your abrasion for stir tank. So this is the mechanical properties and the chemical property um, one can think on while selection of the proper carrier. So any carrier, you cannot going to be select abruptly, or you can say certainly. So this is all about the selection criteria of the carrier. So when one can just think about the immobilization of the method, so one has to think upon the selection criteria for the enzyme as well as selection criteria for the your carrier. So selection criteria, I mean to say that properties of individual, that is enzyme as well as the carrier one not to forget the ultimate, that is combination of both enzyme property as well as the carrier property. Immobilize enzyme. So what actually the mechanism one which required for the immobilization process is immobilization methods, bound protein you required, yield of active enzyme you have to think upon, and last is your intrinsic kinetic parameter. So that intrinsic kinetic parameter which is related with your properties free of mass transfer effect, because we had seen in the last slide that mass transfer rate or the effect, it is ultimately responsible for the performance of that enzyme whatever you have been immobilized. So second one is your mass transfer effect. So I have just said that performance of that enzyme after immobilization, successful immobilization, it is totally depend upon the mass effect. So what exactly the mass effect transfer effect is, which is related with the buffer effect as well as external and internal diffusion. So buffer effect, which is related with the different concentration of solute inside and outside the catalyst particle. So it is quite better to maintain the buffer effect to get the good performance of your immobilized enzyme. And second one is your external and internal diffusion, which is quite also helpful for the different types of raw material when we are supposed to use the raw material for the consideration of immobilization. So the internal and external diffusion, it is totally based upon of your porosity of that material you are using for. So here you are using the different types of carrier, so obviously the porosity of that individual material we have to consider while maintaining or judging the mass transfer effect. Last is very crucial factor, it is that is your stability. So operation stability, storage stability, performances, then productivity and enzyme consumption. So the stability, it is immobilized enzyme stability is totally depend upon the operational condition, then storage condition, then performance, whatever the mass transfer effect has been judged, then its productivity, that that is responsible for the performance, and obviously the end user, that is your enzyme consumption. So we'll going to roll down the uh, application of this immobilized enzyme in next slide. Next one is your methods for the immobilization of the enzymes. So basically these carrier binding, mainly these enzyme immobilization having three part or the type you can say, that is carrier binding, then cross linking and entrapment. Carrier binding and cross linking, these classification which has been based on you can say the surface immobilization, which can bifurcate it further into the adsorption, that is your physical adsorption, then covalent bonding, or you can say the ionic bonding, ionic binding, and your covalent bonding. And next one is your complexation, this complexation which is related with your cross linking parameter. So the two method, that is carrier binding and cross linking, which has been classified on the basis of surface immobilization. And another, that is third one, is your entrapment. The classification of this immobilization method, which has been based on within surface immobilization. So it will always also bifurcate into the two type, that is lattice type and the microcapsule type. So we'll going to discuss one by one. So the enzyme immobilization method, which has been really classified, we had been just classify that on the basis of surface immobilization and within the surface immobilization. But the major component of the immobilized enzyme are the enzyme, the matrix, and the mode of interaction of enzyme with the carrier. So the selected matrix must enhance the operational stability of the immobilized enzyme purification here. Not only the purification method, but also the application of the different carriers for the enzyme immobilization are porous or non-porous material with organic, that is natural or synthetic or inorganic nature. An ideal carrier matrix should be inert, cost effective, stable, high rigidity, then regenerability, then large surface area, more permeability, suitable shape, and highly resistance to the microbial attack. So on the basis of these parameter, one can select the different types of method for the immobilization of different types of the enzyme. Firstly, this carrier binding is based on your surface immobilization. So when we talk regarding the adsorption, no, that adsorption is the most economical and simple method to immobilize the enzyme by adsorbing them onto the charge or neutral surfaces of the inert substrate. So various kind of supports are being used for the adsorption, such as aluminum oxide, then charcoal, then starch, modified saccharose, different types like cellulose derivatives, then glass, and ionic exchanged resin. So the adsorption of this enzyme is totally depend upon the experimental variables such as pH, ionic strength, temperature, nature of the solvent, and concentration of enzyme and adsorption. So this method is really crucial one uh, because the amount of enzyme bound to the carrier and the activity after the mobilization depends on the nature of the carrier, and these are nothing but the subclass of the carrier binding method can be further classified as physical adsorption, then ionic binding, and covalent binding. So the mechanism which is required for the physical adsorption and ionic bindings are the van der Waal force which is required for the adsorption of the different types of enzymes over the solid support. So different types of carriers been used like silica, carbon nanotube, cellulose, etc., and it has been easily desorbed, simple and cheap. Enzyme activity is unaffected here. So as I have told you earlier, that these factors are really crucial one when we talk regarding the especially on the carrier. Then ionic binding, that is formation of your ionic bonds, which is related with the mechanism of designing bonding. It is as like simple as like your physical adsorption, and the carriers are being used for the ionic bonding is polysaccharides and synthetic polymers having an ion exchange center. Physical adsorption, I already told you that adsorption is the most economical and simple method to immobilize enzyme by adsorbing them onto the charge or neutral surfaces of inert substrate. So various kind of supports are used for the adsorption, so we have seen just now. So these are a few advantages and disadvantages I have mentioned here. That is advantages. First one is your little or no conformational changes of the enzyme or destruction of its active center being observed. Then usually no reagents and only a minimum of activation steps are required. And last one is this method is simple and cheap one. On another hand, we do have the some limitation related with the physical adsorption are, so desorption of the protein resulting from changes in temperature, pH and ionic strength, and these are nothing but the crucial three factors by which one can uh, one cannot going to face these kind of the challenges. So this is nothing but the restriction or obstacle you can say while using the physical adsorption mode for the immobilization enzyme. And last is your non-specificity related with your physical adsorption mode. So the next is your covalent binding. So obviously there is a covalent bond formation has been takes place with respect to your solid support, that is your carrier and your enzyme. So some carriers are listed here, that is polymers contain amino, carboxyl, sulfahydryl, hydroxyl or phenolic groups. Loss of enzyme activity and strong binding of the enzymes, these are few main points related with the covalent bonding. And this covalent bonding is formed between the chemical group of enzymes and chemical groups on the surface of carrier. So you could if you could able to see there in the diagram, then you are able to see the covalent bonding. It has been formed between the chemical group of enzyme and the some chemical groups on your surface of carrier. So it's having some advantages. I have told you that loss of enzyme activity, then strong binding of the enzyme, and the attachment which is not reversed by the pH ionic strength or the substrate, and the active site of the enzyme may be blocked through the chemical reaction and enzyme rendered inactive here. Adsorption of the enzyme to the carrier matrices is quite easy and convenient by covalent bonding, you can say. Not to forget, the formation of covalent bond usually takes place particularly with the side chain of amino acid which is present in the enzyme. So various groups are there which is listed somehow here, and different types of covalent bondings are also been classified further as your diazotization, then formation of peptide bond, then group activation, and last is your polyfunctional reagent. So these are the four mechanism you can say by which the covalent bonding is really crucial, play its role crucial for the immobilization of the enzyme. This method is actually relies on the ionic bonding of the enzyme sorry protein to water insoluble carriers which containing the ion exchange residues. So likewise some covalent bonding advantages and disadvantages, the ionic bonding mode also having their own advantages and disadvantages. So the few advantages related with the ionic bonding mode is the conditions are much milder than those needed for the covalent binding method. Second one, little changes in the conformation and the active site of the enzyme. And third one is your high activities in most cases. So these are the three major advantages or the benefits by which one can look forward for the immobilization through ionic bonding mode. Disadvantages: uh, leakage of the enzymes from the carrier may occur in substrate solution of high ionic strength or upon variation of the pH. So as I have already told you that adsorption or the ionic bonding mode is a mechanism which is rely upon, or you can say by which the surface immobilization takes place. So on the basis of surface immobilization, the adsorption, ionic bond and covalent bonding perform its role better there in the immobilization. So the process of adsorption of the enzyme is performed by mixing the enzyme and polymer support in a stirred reactor or by percolating the enzyme through a packed bed tube or membrane. The quantity of this enzyme adsorbed to a solid support is depend on the enzyme concentration exposed to the unit surface of carrier during the immobilization process. So time and temperature are important parameters in adsorption of the enzyme with porous carrier. Uh, Apart from that, the desorption of the protein is depend on the changes in temperature, pH and ionic strength. I have already told you regarding this. Okay, so van der Waals force has and hydrogen bonding has plays its key role there in the ionic binding. Next word, next one is your covalent bonding. We have just discussed here that there are the different types of bond formation which takes place between the chemical group of enzyme and chemical group on the surface carrier. So covalent bonding which having some sort of the advantages, that is loss of enzyme the enzyme is an attach not reversed by pH, ionic strength or substrate, and the active site of the enzyme may be blocked through the chemical reaction and the enzyme rendered inactive. So the formation of covalent bond usually takes place particularly with the side chain of amino acids present in the enzyme. Okay, so these are the few hurdles related with the covalent bonding is loss of enzyme activity and due to the strong binding of the enzyme towards the solid support. These are some mechanism by which one can see the covalent binding. I have already told you that different methods of the covalent bonding are diazotization, then formation of peptide bond, then group activation and polyfunctional reagent. So these are the few you can say the methods under the covalent binding. So these are nothing but the examples are there. Advantages and disadvantages I have already told you, but few of them are: covalent binding is usually thought to be stable method by the enzyme carrier bond, which prevents the illusion of protein into the production stream. The wide range of choices is possible by selecting carrier material and binding method. These allow a great deal of flexibility in designing an immobilized enzyme with specific physical and chemical properties such as charge distribution, hydrophobe or hydrophile reaction, then spacer arm separation, partitioning capabilities, etc. These are few disadvantages related with the covalent methods are relatively expensive, this method is, and complicated in procedure which are involved. Also activity yields may be low due to exposure of the enzyme to harsh environments or toxic reagent. And second one is active site may be modified through the chemical reaction used to create the covalent bonding. So these are the few disadvantages related with the covalent bonding mechanism. This method is based on the formation of covalent bonds between enzyme molecules by means of bi or multifunctional reagent, which leading to three-dimensional cross-link aggregates. So this is the mechanism, what how actually the cross-linking mechanism takes place. So here we are able to see that enzyme molecule has been attached to each other by means of covalent bond, by means of bi or multifunctional reagent. So actually this cross-linking is to cross-link the enzyme molecule with each other using the agent such as glutaraldehyde. So cross-linking agent here is used as glutaraldehyde. So there are the n number of cross-linking agents are nowadays available for the suitability of the immobilization of the enzyme system. So features, obviously the features are similar to the covalent binding, and several methods are also going to combine related with the cross-linking. Advantages and disadvantages related with the cross-linking methods are: very first advantage is very little desorption, that is enzyme strongly bound. So this is a very crucial method where you are able to see the enzyme has been strongly bound towards the carrier. Second one is cross-linking is used in conjugation with one of the other method. It is used mostly as means of stabilizing adsorb enzyme and also for preventing the leakages. Disadvantages: cross-linking may cause the significant changes in the active site of enzyme, and also severe diffusion limitations may lead to significant loss of the activity. So obviously, so these are the some conformational, you can say, the limitation related with the cross-linking method. There is significant changes maybe takes place there in the active site, so thereby the enzyme has may lose its activity, and due to the diffusion there in the limitation, which may lead for the significant loss of the activity. So obviously during the preparation, due to the significant change in the conformation, which lead for the some enzyme activity loss. Next is your entrapment. Basically the classification of that entrapment, which was based, we had seen just now, on the within the surface immobilization. So whatever the entrapment it's been takes place here, which has been takes place on the basis of your the surface immobilization within the mechanism. So entrapment is further, we had seen in last slide that entrapment having the two type, that is lattice type and microcapsule type. So entrapment is nothing but say immobilization of the enzyme molecules, which can be performed by the physical entrapment of the enzyme inside a polymer matrix, so which is based upon the coupling enzyme to the lattice of polymer matrix or enclosing them in a semi permeable membrane, and it also prevent the release of protein while allowing the diffusion of substrate and product. So gel can be formed by the polymerization, in which the covalent bonds are formed by use of the copolymers with little change in the covalent bond. And these are the few organic and inorganic materials which is used as a matrix material for the entrapment mechanism. So organics material are polysaccharide, protein, carbon, vinyl and allyl polymers and polyamides. Examples are calcium alginate, then agar, then potassium carrageenane and collagen. So these are the few organic matrix material are applicable or used in the entrapment, and some inorganic matrix materials are activated carbon, then porous ceramic shapes, porous ceramic. So these are the few inorganic matrix material are used, and the shapes obtained are depend upon the particle, membrane and fiber. So immobilization procedure, like enzyme, it is going to bind with the polymer in the solution, so polymerization takes place, and later on the extrusion, with the help of extrusion mechanism, you will going to observe there are the different types of the shape of the particles are formed. So this is your encapsulation. Encapsulation method, this technique is not applicable for high molecular weight substrate. During the process of this immobilization, the enzyme may be inactivated or may be leaked through microcapsule. So enzymes are immobilized within the microcapsule prepared from the organic polymers. The membrane encloses the enzyme and remain semi-permeable to the substrate and product. So this method of encapsulation is very simple and cheap, you can say, and it also provide the large surface area to enzyme to contact with the substrate, and several enzymes can be mobilized in a single step. So method used for the encapsulation of enzymes are first one is your phase separation, second one is your interfacial polymerization, and third one is your liquid drying method, and fourth one is your liquid surfactant membrane method. So these are the four methods by which the microencapsulation of the enzymes can be possible. So many enzymes are microencapsulated by the process of phase separation method, which is based on coacervation. So aqueous enzyme solution is first emulsified in a organic solvent, that is your water insoluble solvent, you can say, and which containing the polymer, and then to the organic phase containing aqueous micro droplets. So another organic solvent is slowly added, in which the polymer is insoluble and the polymer is concentrated and membranes are formed around the micro droplets of the aqueous enzyme solution. And in case of interfacial polymerization method, which is also similar as that of your phase separation method, but in this method the aqueous solution of the enzyme and a hydrophilic monomer are emulsified in a water immiscible organic solvent. So the whatever the emulsions you will get, so that emulsion, the in that the hydrophilic monomer you have to add with stirring. So these two monomers polymerizes at the interface between the aqueous and organic solvent phases in the emulsion and forms a semi-permeable membrane of the copolymer, in which the enzyme in the aqueous phase is enclosed. And in liquid drying method, which is your third one, so in this method the enzyme solution is emulsified in an organic solvent with a boiling point lower than that of your water containing the membrane, which is forming the polymers, and using the oils soluble surfactant, you can say. And the emulsion containing aqueous enzyme micro droplet is then dispersed in an aqueous medium with the protective colloidal substances, and secondary emulsion is formed, and the final microencapsulated enzyme is obtained by removing the organic solvent. And in last method, that is liquid surfactant membrane method, the enzyme emulsion is prepared in the two step. So first step is your aqueous enzyme solution is emulsified in the organic phase at higher shear stress, and the stability of the microdroplets is attained by adding suitable surfactant to the organic phase. And in second step, the stable emulsion is injected into the into your what you can say, the outer continuous aqueous phase. So I have already told you regarding the entrapment. So there are the few challenges related with the entrapment is enzyme leakage into the solution may take place, diffusional limitation are there, then reduce enzyme activity and stability, then lack of control micro environmental condition, and it could be improved by modifying the matrix or membrane. So in case of the entrapment, the mobilization of the enzyme molecules can be performed by the physical entrapment of the enzyme inside a polymer matrix. If you could able to see here, the enzyme has got entrapped there in the matrix in the first diagram, and in second diagram the entrapment of the enzyme has takes place there in the droplet itself. So it can be performed by or formed by the polymerization, in which covalent bonds are formed by use of pre-polymers with very little changes in the covalent bond, and enzymes are dispersed or dissolved into an aqueous buffer containing acrylamide and which one is one that is I forget the name, that is bisacrylate as a cross linker. So pore size and the mechanical strength of the gel is dependent on the concentration of the acrylamide. So this is all about the entrapment. So next is your immobilized enzyme reactor. So these are the few reactor by which one can immobilize your enzyme through the recycle reactor. So these are the various component there in the diagram, that is substrate inlet, immobilized enzyme bed, and there in the cylindrical shape of bed, that is of yellow in color. Then product outlet is there and recycle stream is there. So this process of immobilization is performed by mixing the enzyme and polymer support in a stirred reactor, you can say, or by percolating the enzyme through a pack bed tube or the membrane, which is in yellow color. So the quantity of the enzyme which is adsorbed on that bed on a solid support, it is totally depend upon an enzyme concentration which is exposed to the unit surface of carrier during the immobilization process, and the time and temperature are important parameter in this immobilization there in the reactor with the porous carrier. And the disadvantages related with this: binding forces between the enzyme and the supports may be weak depending upon the what type of carrier you are using for the immobilization of the your enzyme. So this is the simple or the typical diagram, you can say, of packed column reactor, which can allow the reactor to operate at high fluid velocities. This is your product outlet, wherein you are able to incorporate your substrate as a carrier for the immobilization of the enzyme. As I already told you that the mixing of an enzyme and the polymer support in a stirred reactor or by percolating the enzyme through a pack bed, tube or the membrane, and the quantity of this enzyme adsorbed to a solid support which is dependent on the enzyme concentration exposed to the unit surface of carrier during the process. So some are the few features I have mentioned here, which having the high viscosity substrate solution, then gaseous substrate or the product in a continuous reaction system. Then care must be taken to avoid the destruction and decomposition of the immobilized enzyme. This is the typical diagram wherein you are able to see the continuous stir tank reactor, wherein the substrates have been added, wherein the there in the tank of your enzyme, where the substrate and enzyme reactions takes place, what you can say that immobilization takes place, and ultimately you will get the product. So this is the typical diagram of your continuous stir tank reactor, wherein an iron immobilized enzyme tends to decompose upon the physical stirring, and the batch system is generally suitable for the production of rather small amount of chemicals. So these are the few factors which affect the enzyme kinetic, that is pH effect on enzyme and the substrate. So what it exactly? So the pH effect over the enzyme which having the ionic group on their active sides, there may be the variation of pH changes, the ionic form of the active sites, then pH changes the three-dimensional structure of the enzyme, and the pH effect over the substrate are: some substrate contain the ionic groups, some substrate which can the pH can affect the ionic form of the substrate, and at last which ultimately shows its effect over the affinity of the substrate to the enzyme. So these are some parameter by which one can say that these are the factors which are mainly affect the kinetics of the enzyme. So obviously the factors affecting enzyme kinetic, the second parameter is your temperature. Obviously it is well known that the temperature on the rate of enzyme which catalyzes the reaction, and after the catalyzation of the reaction, the denaturation of the enzymes may takes place when you are supposed to increase your temperature, because it is due to the high temperature the enzymes get denaturate. So increase in temperature, there is increase in the denaturation rate. These are few applications in the facet of diagnostic and therapeutic. But so immobilized enzymes and cells are commonly used in industrial process, analytical techniques, secondary metabolite production, drug targeting, then designing of bioreactor, bio environmental modification, etc. There is one case study which was found in the year of 1969, Tanabe Siyaku, where the first developed immobilized amino acylase for the continuous production of L-amino acid from acyl DL amino acids. There are the different types of applications of these immobilization of enzymes are there, which is related maybe of your industrial processes. So the immobilized biocatalysts are used for the production of different antibiotics, different steroids, and different n number of amino acids in the pharmaceutical industries, wherein the immobilized penicillin acylase has been used in the production of semisynthetic penicillins through deacylation of penicillin G to 6-amino penicillinic acid, that is 6-APA, using the micro reticular ion exchange resin as support. Not only these, but there are the different types of immobilized catalyst which is used for the chemical transformations. Few are I'm going to tell you that antibiotics, that is your penicillin, penicillin G, cephalexin, bacitracin, tylosine. So these are the compounds by which the penicillin amidase, cephalosporin amidase, then multi enzymes has been formulated. The steroid, amino acids, some organic acids are also there. So analytical applications related with your medical diagnosis, industrial monitoring program, then analysis of the specific reaction and determination of organic and inorganic compounds in the biological fluids is important in the clinical analysis. Most of the analysis of these compounds are performed by enzyme catalyzed reaction. Not to forget the electrochemical devices which were used for the estimation of the compounds are oxygen electrode, ammonia gas, then CO2 gas, pH electrode. So these are the different types of applications are there. But when one can talk regarding the therapeutic application of these enzyme immobilization, then preparation of these enzyme immobilization such as streptokinase, urokinase, fibrinolysis in the microgranules of cephadics can be effectively used for the treatment of thrombosis and thromboemboli of any vessels. Urea urease modulated system suggested the interesting possibility of using immobilized enzyme to alter the local pH and consequently you can say to change the pH sensitive polymer erosion rates. By looking towards these application, there are n number of immobilized microorganisms are there which having their own applications in different facets. Some of them are Anthobacter simplex immobilized microorganism, which is applicable for the synthesis of prednisolone from hydrocortisone. Then Humicola species, this is also a another immobilized microorganism which is applicable in the conversion of rifamycin B to rifamycin S. Then Saccharomyces cerevisiae, which is applicable in the hydrolysis of sucrose. Then Zymomonas mobilis, which is applicable for the production of sorbitol and gluconic acid from glucose and fructose. So there are the different types of techniques are employed for the immobilization of cells, are almost the same as that of use for the immobilization of enzyme with appropriate modification. So at last, I could say that the enzyme technology, which is really associated with the use of different enzymes as tools in the industrial aspect, pharmaceutical aspect, agriculture aspect, and not to forget, ultimately, that is your medicine aspect. And the selection of the site of the sources for the enzyme is depend upon the specificity, activation, inhibition, pH, thermostability, availability, and cost. So the extraction of the enzyme from the plant and animal sources are simple as compared to the microbial sources, and these microbial sources are capable of producing a wide variety of enzymes from bacteria and fungi. The enzyme concentration in these cells is totally depend upon the environmental condition and the genetic manipulation. So these microbial cells require the short fermentation time, inexpensive media, and simple screening procedure. uh, Thank you so much. In next presentation we will going to see the different chapter which may be your related with your genetic engineering techniques. Okay, so this is all about the revision of your enzyme technology, because that chapter has already been covered in your classroom, but at the outset I took this opportunity of this lockdown and roll down once again this chapter for you people. Thank you so much.